Good morning. It's Scott Cullen here. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Cannata Report. It's so great to be with you today. It's another episode of Fridays with Frank. Before I bring out Frank and a special guest, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, send Frank your questions. Frank, how you doing today? Who do you have with you? What's on your mind?
Well, I'm doing great, Scott. Thank you for asking. It's been an interesting week for me after that that trip last week to Greenville, South Carolina, where I ended up in a hospital. But I'm fully recovered. I'm fine. We've got a special thing this morning, Scott. I was so pleased to hear that BTA was honoring Bob Goldberg on Tuesday, June 18th, at the Huntington Beach, California BTA meeting coming up next week, and which I will be attending along with our dear friends Larry Weiss and Jerry Blaine, and also Larry White from Toshiba is going to join us. So we have a small group of us, but Brent Hoskins has done an incredible job for an agenda packed with presenters to wish Bob very well. And I'm so happy to see it. So I thought in our own way, we could do just among the three of us, you, Scott, CJ, myself, and express our own opinions or well wishes to Bob. And if there's anyone who deserves, it's he. So allow me to start by just saying I've known Bob Goldberg for the better part of 35 years, and I've never seen a professional so dedicated to helping others. Lawyers are lawyers. They're good ones. They work hard, and they get the results, and they're well paid. And you get the sense after a while, and Bob got to the point where he was saying, I got all the money I need. If you need my help, I can take care of it. Tell me what you need. That's, to me, is incredible. I mean, that just doesn't happen. So at any rate, we were all fortunate, I think. He's elevated the professionalism of the organization in so many different ways. First and foremost, when he came on the scene, manufacturers didn't have any legal documents that said, here you are, this is what we do, this is what we won't do. It was pathetic. He drew up the manufacturer-dealer agreements and to protect the dealer's interest at a time when it was desperately needed, because Japanese manufacturers were coming out with new plain paper copiers, some of which didn't work well at all, causing a lot of grief to dealers, and the manufacturers weren't standing behind them. So at any rate, that's history, but that just gives you one small idea of how this man has gone out and done his best for those. I will just add one final story. I was at a CDA meeting in Park City, Utah, many years ago, at a time when things were where they were changing owners of the operating system that dealers used, and there was a big to-do because the original contract called for forgiveness of a 5% fee for the use of the system. The new owners came in and said, no, that's gone. You're now going to have to pay. And I'm sitting there listening to Bob talk to the dealers, and he's listening to their grievances. And he said, you're right. If you're sued, you could win, but what it'll cost you, just not worth it. The best thing you can do is settle. And there was a room full of dealers ready to go to war. And I'm serious, ready to spend the money to hire Bob. So if that doesn't say everything about this guy, and I tell you on a personal basis, what he's done for us as our master of ceremony at the gala for 5 or 6 years now, he's been terrific. And I'm so happy for him that he's retiring and passing baton on to his son Gregory, who I hear is a chip off the old block. So that's kind of my take on saying thank you, Bob Goldberg. And I'm pleased to announce that we have CJ Cannata with us, who would like to express his feelings about Bob.
Thank you, Frank, and happy Friday, everybody. Frank, you said one thing that I'd like to expound upon a little bit, or expand upon a little bit, and that's Bob elevating the playing fields. I think that with his professionalism, and I think that Bob absolutely, on a larger scale, innocuously, just by the way that, you know, he, to your point, chooses to interact with others, help others, and conduct himself. The way that he speaks, the way that he presents, serious, balanced with delight, and with a tremendous amount of knowledge and respect, has overall, I believe, elevated the professionalism of the entire industry and played a significant role in doing that. I can also certainly say, when it comes to me, that he's had a direct impact on my own level of professionalism within this industry, or at least I hope that that's the perception amongst the audience. But certainly in working with Bob on a variety of things, particularly the gala, which Bob absolutely helped me and the rest of us, Frank, Carol, and the rest of the Cannata Report team, elevate that event to what it continues to evolve into. One of the things that Bob certainly helped me with regards to my professionalism and just doing a better job in achieving desired results does have to do specifically with our gala, and not only all the creative and innovative contributions that he made, or the time that he gave to us and to me to speak every year about the theme and what we wanted to do. It goes without saying that I'm beyond grateful for all of that. And I think all of you that have attended the gala or heard of the gala or seen any videos or photos or collateral post-gala have seen Bob's very unique but recognizable style and imprint on the gala while maintaining an alignment with the Cannata Report brand. But aside from that, behind the scenes, Bob really helped me much better navigate or effectively and more efficiently and respectfully navigate the ins and outs of working with family members, particularly your mother and your father, regardless who is quote unquote the boss or in charge of any given situation. And I can largely say that thanks to Bob, I really took a step back at some of my behaviors and some of my approaches to Frank and to Carol in particular, and in specifically with regard to that event. Although certainly what I learned from Bob carried from what I learned in prepping for the event with him, along with Frank, Carol, and all the others involved, certainly transcended into various other areas of my professional career and my career within the industry. So I just like to say, Bob, thank you so much for everything that you taught me with regards to that, because that's something very particular and unique that I wanted to share with the audience. I would not be able to work as efficiently and as productively as I can today with my family and with my organization if it hadn't been for you and your guidance. And I also just thank you so much for the generosity and kindness that you've shown to me, the time that you've always given to me, and would just end with, I'm aware of the time that you give to me and how you always have a moment to send me an email, and it's always thoughtful and it's always relevant and up to date in terms of what we may last have been working on together, discussing. And all I can think about is, wow, if Bob is doing this with me, what is he doing with everybody else? Well, of course, I'm hearing all the wonderful things that Bob is doing and has done, is doing, and will continue to do to just help as many people as he possibly can. That's a thought I'd kind of like to leave you with in terms of how I perceive Bob. And for that, Bob, we thank you, we love you, and we wish you all the best as you transcend into the next chapter of your life. And with that, I'd like to introduce our very own editor-in-chief, Mr. Scott Cullen. Scott?
Well, thanks a lot, CJ. It's trying to follow you and Frank talking about Bob is going to be quite the challenge, but I'm going to go for it anyway. And I'm going to do this from an editorial perspective. And to be honest, I really never considered Bob much of a source or never even thought about using him as a source until I sat with him at an early ECS, Executive Connection Summit, before I joined the Cannata Report, and kind of got to know him and thought, wow, this guy is really great, nice guy. Maybe I should get a little closer. Well, I never really got as close as you and Frank, but I have over the years since joining the Cannata Report reached out to Bob for his wisdom or his comments on different topics that I was writing about. And it turned out I was a great resource and a responsive resource. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate. Bob can talk about anything. Okay, he may be a lawyer, but he knows this industry inside and out. He can talk technology as well as anybody. When I know I need somebody that has a certain type of expertise on a topic, who are you going to call? You're going to call Bob Goldberg. And that's who I call, and that's who does a great job of providing me with exactly what I need. And I'm going to miss that. But having met Bob's son, Greg, at the last Executive Connection Summit, I think BTA is going to be in good hands. Dealers are going to be in great hands as well. Bob, best of luck. I know you're going to have a wonderful time in retirement, and I know you're never going to be too far away from our industry. Thanks for everything you've done. That wraps up another episode of Fridays with Frank. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.